welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and I'm here today to do my September TBR. So please ignore the flyaways on my head. It's extremely humid today in Montreal and extremely rainy. Sorry for the change in angle. I just feel like I look a bit better this way. I don't know. Yeah, like I was saying, today was extremely rainy. I went to work. I look like a disaster. So we're just gonna push past this and we're gonna film my TBR. I have quite a large stack of books to read for September, and part of that reason is due to the fact that I have been majorly slumping in July and August, and a lot of these books are piling up. They're falling into other months, and I'm falling behind. I know it's not a big deal. It's just reading. It's just for fun. But for me, I take it seriously as a Capricorn. So let's get into the books that I'm currently reading, and then we'll move into the other books that I plan to read. So firstly, I am about 60 pages into The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Naylor. This is the August pick for the Professor Kelsey's book club for August. So obviously I am falling behind and I need to finish this before September, hopefully. This is a book club I host with my friends Justin and Bobby, where we just pick books and read them together, and I do a live show for them on my channel. We're hoping to do the live show next week, so I need to finish this by next week at least.
Girl is well on her way to finish it.
This is essentially a book that follows a oceanic scientist named Dr. Nguyen, who is recruited onto this very specific island to study a group of octopuses that the company that hires her believe are sentient. Sealed off of a remote island, there is a species of octopus that have been discovered that may have developed their own language and culture. So Dr. Nguyen is not an oceanic scientist, she's a marine biologist. I need to learn words, who has spent her life researching cephalopod intelligence and will do anything for a chance to study this specific group of octopuses. So like I said, I'm only 60 pages in, but so far it's really engaging me. Like, I have quite a few tabs already. So I'm listening to this on audio and I really hope that I finish it within the next few days. But like I said, I have the first week, and if you would like to tune in, it will probably be Thursday, September 7th, but it will always be up on my channel. So if you ever read it, the live show is there. I am also currently rereading the A Darker Shade of Magic series. I'm on A Gathering of Shadows. This is a Conjuring Light just because it was here, because I plan to read The Fragile Threads of Power, which is the second half of the A Darker Shade of Magic series. It does still follow the characters from the first series, but is also following some new characters after the events that happen in this one. The A Darker Shade of Magic series follows a magician called Antari named Kel, who is able to travel through different parallel worlds, specifically in the town of London that is found within the different worlds. The world that Kel comes from is Red London, and this is where magic is thriving and almost treated as a religious endeavor. Because Kel is Antari, he can control the 4 different parts of magic, and he is also treated as somewhat of a god and somewhat of a evil being by the people. Grey London is sort of like our London. There is no magic. Magic is sort of thought of as this mythical thing that doesn't really exist. Then there is White London, where magic is slowly corrupting the society and overtaking the magicians within that world. And then there is Black London, where no one really travels, and that is where magic completely took over the world and sucked it to its core. So I'm very excited to read the Threads of Magic series as well. I will be filming a release day vlog and filming all of my thoughts because I plan to read it immediately after I get it. So I'm just going to take you along with me. So that's a vlog you can expect in the month of September, but I will also be trying to finish the 2 other books before that. Another vlog you can expect from me this month is for Rouge by Mona Awad. Mona Awad is also one of my favorite writers, so also expect a release day vlog for this as well. I'm also attending an author event because Mona Awad is Canadian, so I'm very excited to finally be able to go to an author event, and then specifically to an author event of one of my favorite writers. So Rouge is Mona Awad's 4th book, and I have a feeling this is sort of like a Snow White, Beauty and the Beast type of retelling. This is a horror-tinted gothic fairy tale about a lonely dress shop clerk whose mother's unexpected death sends her down a treacherous path in pursuit of youth and beauty. Can she escape her mother's faith and find a connection that is more than skin deep? For as long as she can remember, Belle has been insidiously obsessed with her skin and skincare videos. When her estranged mother Noelle mysteriously dies, Belle finds herself back in Southern California dealing with her mother's considerable debts and grappling with lingering questions about her death. So I don't want to know any more about this. I love going into Mona Awad's books not knowing anything, and I just I feel it in my bones that this is going to be a 5-star, especially with the experience of going to see her talk about it. So I'm really excited for this book, but also really excited for that vlog. Next, one of my friends, Dani over at Current Chapter, maybe you've heard of her, just started her Patreon, and one of the perks for the Patreon is, of course, a book club. And this month, in the month of September, we will be tackling a short story collection called The Far Reaches. This is a short story collection that is kind of curated by Amazon to allow some of like these best-selling authors to write short stories about a specific topic. So Dani and I had also read the Forward collection, and both of us really enjoyed our experience with that. We read it for our work book club, which is really funny. And now we're going to be reading The Far Reaches. So because it is multiple short stories and some of them are like 38 pages, I didn't read the summary of the short stories. So I mostly want to focus on what the entire collection is sort of attempting to curate. And the description is: the universe is bigger than we can imagine. Look outward beyond the stars with 6 short stories from best-selling visionary authors. An AI awakens its purpose. A researcher seeds 1,000 new worlds for one more chance at love. A murder rocks the crew of an interstellar ship. With a sweeping sense of wonder, these stories explore the galaxy and the horizons of humanity's potential. So there are 6 authors. Some that I am really excited to read from is the first one, which is How It Unfolds by James S.A. Corey. I hated James S.A. Corey's first book. What was it called? I'll put it up on the screen. I hated that book. It was one of my worst books the year that I read it. And so I'm really excited to see if James S.A. Corey can capture me in a different story. It seems as though his story is going to be a murder that rocks the crew of an interstellar ship, which kind of reminds me of the book that I read from him. So we'll see how that goes. Another story I'm really excited for is Falling Bodies by Rebecca Roanhurst. I've never read a full-length novel from Rebecca Roanhurst, but I've always read her short stories in different collections, and I've always really enjoyed them. Always found them to be really interesting and asking some interesting questions. So that's one that I'm really excited to read. Nnedi Okorafor is another author that I absolutely adore and always find really interesting discussions and topics within their books. So that's another short story that I'm very excited to pick up. And I think that's it. So we'll see how it goes. And I will leave a link down below to Dani's channel if you would like to check her out and join her Patreon potentially. After that, another book I'm reading for content this month, I will have a lot of vlogs, it seems, is Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, The Sword of Summer. This is the next series we are starting for the Rick Riordan read-along Ricky Boy time with my friend Hauneni, who I will also leave a link down below to her channel. The Magnus Chase series is a series that I've been extremely excited to start ever since I saw these covers being released in like 2015 around. And I also love Norse mythology. So I'm really excited to see like what gods from Norse mythology appear. I'm sure Thor will be there. I'm sure Loki will be there. But this follows a boy named Magnus Chase who has seen his share of trouble. Ever since a terrifying night 2 years ago, Magnus Chase has been on the run. And one day Magnus learns that his uncle Rudolph has been trying to track him down. His mother has always warned him to stay away from him, but one day Uncle Rudolph finds him and starts rambling about Norse mythology and Magnus's birthright, which is a weapon that has been hidden for thousands of years. I'm so excited to see how this develops, and it is a trilogy, so you can follow along with us if you would like. I will leave a link to that video somewhere up above. So in September, we will be reading this one. In October, we will be reading the next one. And in November, we will be reading the final one. And I'm so excited to start this series and see if I love it. After that, I'm going to talk about the Professor Kelsey's book club pick for September, which we will be discussing in October, and that is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I've heard nothing but excellent things about this book, and as someone who is well versed in Stephen King but hasn't read a lot of the like well-known books, you can say that I am extremely excited to read this one, because most of what I've seen of reviews of this book have been people saying it's their favorite Stephen King. So if I've already read Stephen King books that I enjoy, I feel like this one's going to be a 5-star. This tells the story of Dr. Lewis Creed, who takes a new job and moves his family to the idyllic and rural town of Ludlow, Maine, obviously. And this new beginning seems too good to be true, obviously. Yet despite Ludlow's tranquility, there is an undercurrent of danger that exists here. Those trucks on the road outside the Creed's beautiful old home travel by just a little too quickly because they have a makeshift pet cemetery out back in the nearby woods. Then there are warnings to Lewis, both real and from the depths of his nightmares, that he should not venture beyond the borders of this little graveyard. A blood-chilling truth is hidden there, one more terrifying than death itself and hideously more powerful. An ominous fate befalls anyone who dares tamper with this forbidden place, as Lewis is about to discover for himself. I have really kept like a blind eye to what this book really entails, what the themes of this novel are. Obviously, death is one of the themes, but I'm just so excited to pick this up, and hopefully I can listen to it on audio. I love listening to Stephen King's books on audio. I find they make it a lot easier to read. So looking forward to that, and the live show again will be in October. This month I also just finished A Record of a Spaceborne Few by Becky Chambers, and I wanted to continue with the series so I could finish it out and start other works of Becky Chambers, because I've been reading the series for quite a long time because I've always been putting it off. So this is The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers, and it is book 4 in the Wayfarer series. So it's a series that follows different short stories that are kind of all interrelated, and it is often described as like cozy sci-fi because it's just like so sweet and humble and wonderful. And every time I'm reading one of Becky Chambers' works, like I feel good inside. When a freak technological failure halts traffic to and from the planet Gora, 3 strangers are thrown together unexpectedly with seemingly nothing to do but wait. Pei is a cargo runner at a personal crossroads, torn between her duty to her people and her duty to herself. Pei is a character that we've seen in The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, so very excited to return to her character. Roveg is an exiled artist with a deeply urgent and longed for family appointment to keep. Speaker has never been far from her twin, but now must endure the unendurable separation. Under the care of Ulu, an Enterprise alien, and Tupo, her occasionally helpful child, the trio are compelled to confront where they've been, where they might go, and what they might be to one another. I just can't wait. I just love Becky Chambers' work. Like, it's just so beautiful, and her writing is absolutely amazing. So I'm very excited to pick this one up and see how it goes. And then another book that I would like to read for content this month, and this is for me and Ness only. I will be trying to vlog BTS's Beyond the Story, which is a 10-year record of BTS. Is basically what it is. This is just a book that has been recently released that goes over and covers the 10 years that BTS has been together. So from conception to about now. It is divided into 7 chapters for obviously the 7 members of BTS. And I want to read this, highlight it, love it, enjoy it for what it is. My most recent video involving BTS is where I read RM's recommendations. So I'm very excited to post another video involving BTS on my channel, and we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping I really enjoy this just for like being like a little BTS fangirl, you know? And then the final book I would like to read is The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan. I was following along with the Robert Jordan read along that Sandra over at Got a Thing for Things is doing. Oh my God. We match. And every 2 months about they've been reading the A Wheel of Time series, and now I am behind. And when you are behind with 900-page books, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. So I need to catch up. This is the 4th book in the series, so I won't go too much into depth about what this specific book is about. But the Wheel of Time series follows a world where time is kind of in a wheel, in a circle, and it seems to be repeating itself over the years. And basically, this novel follows a group of kids who were kind of picked up in their town because they all showed signs of potentially being the next dragon. In this world, women are able to utilize magic, and whenever a man is able to use magic, he seems to move over to the dark side, is basically what it is. And an Aes Sedai, which is basically like a witch, goes to pick them up in order to kind of like form them and watch them so that whoever becomes the dragon doesn't move over to the dark side. I have been really enjoying this series. I definitely think it is of its time, of the 90s. So there are some slower moments, and especially for a book that's like 1,000 pages, sometimes it's a bit rough to follow, but I am enjoying the story overall. So I'm really hoping that I can read this book and enjoy it, and we'll see how it goes. And that's it. Those are all of the books I want to read in the month of September. I know it's a lot. I know I've been in a reading slump, and somehow I want to read like what feels like 25 books, but we'll see how it goes. But if you've read any of these books, did you like them? Did you hate them? Let me know in the comments. Warn me, please. And if you would like to follow me on this treacherous journey on any of my other social medias, I do leave a link down below to my Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. And of course, because it is the end of the video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. I tell you every time, but it does wonders for my channel. It makes me feel really good. And that's it. I don't know what the movement of these hands were. I never know how to end these things without being awkward. So I will see you next time. Okay, bye.